Yeah, in this unit, learning, concept of learning, then nature of learning, definition of learning, and principles of learning, and other aspect related to the theories of learning. In the next one, the theories of learning. First, learning, concept of learning, then principles of learning, theories of learning. These are the important aspects we need to discuss in these two units, like 15th and 16th unit. Yeah. See, as we know, there is a main definition of psychology. What is the psychology definition? Already we discussed in the previous classes. What is psychology? Psychology is the behavioral science, as we already discussed in the initial classes. It's a behavioral science. Okay, means it is how the behavior of the human, how the behavior of the various individuals, that we will observe or we will know in this psychological concepts. Okay. One important aspect of learning is behavior modification. So learning is the behavior, how you know whether somebody is learned or not. If there is any modification in his behavior, then only we can understand, we can conclude that something is happened in his behavior, some modification of behavior. He has been know exit behavior and the entry behavior. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you be little louder, sir? Your voice is too low.
Yeah, yes. So any modification of behavior, learning, one important thing in learning is that some modification changes of behavior, or you can say behavior modification. For example, when you are admitted in a course, like it may be intermediate course, it may be any professional course, that may be any, even in psychology course also. When you enter into the course, when you enter into the professional colleges, for example, if it is a BTech course, that may be the graduation course, maybe PG psychology course. When you enter into the course, when you started your course in the initial stages, so you don't have that much of knowledge about the course or about the process of the various courses or various subjects of the courses or even topics of the course. So that behavior means that is it is starting behavior. It also known as the initial behavior or entry behavior. After completion of your 2 years or 3 years or 4 years course, you will have some clarity about the subject and you will have some knowledge about the subject. Got it? Before knowing the subject, our behavior or your behavior or my behavior, maybe somehow it's different. That is called entry behavior. After completion of the course, our behavior. Behavior means, what is behavior actually? See, is the psychology is the behavioral science. Behavior, there are so many components in the behavior. One is our attitude. Second is our interest. Third is our personality traits. Fourth is our memory, our learning aspect. This all comes under the behavior. So when we enter into any course, so we don't have that much of knowledge about the course or the subject. That is the reason our behavior will be somehow different. So after completion of your 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years course, our behavior means attitude or confidence levels. Before entering into the course, before starting the course, our confidence level will be somehow different. It's low. So after completion of the course, after completion of your 3 years, 2 years, 4 years course, our confidence level will be somehow high. It also comes under the behavior. So here in the learning aspects, what are the behavior, if the behavior is changing after completion of your learning process? that may be measurable, that may be understandable, that can be easily assessed. So one important definition of behavior is that one important definition of learning is that modification of behavior through training and experience. Learning is modification of behavior through training and experience. At the time of even walking and even learning the speech also, initially infant or maybe the childhood stage or maybe infant stage, the child, when the child starts walking, first of all, the process of walking, it should be trained by mother. Okay, usually with the help of the mother or the elders, the child learns how to walk. It is nothing but training of the particular task. So training means how to walk. It's one type of training. Second is after completion of the training, the child himself or herself learns how to walk by his own experience, by her own experience. So here in the learning of language, maybe any language, learning of walking, sitting, any sort of learning, even any topic also. For example, now I am training up you. I am giving some sort of tips to know the subject or some sort of counseling when you are learning some topics on the subject. This is one type of training. After completion of my lesson, after completion of my lecture, you will have your own experience. That is known as the learning experiences. So through training and our own experience, we will modify our behavior. That means instead of negative attitude, you will have a positive attitude. Initially, low confidence, after completion of your subject or completion of your learning subject, your confidence will be very high. So this is the exit behavior and entry behavior. I think you are able to understand. In the learning aspect, there are two important factors. One is training. Second is experience. The definition is that learning is modification of behavior through training and experience. Training is the first level. Then second is the experience. These are the two important factors of learning. If the training is not up to the mark, the learning may not be up to the mark. If our own experience, our learning experience, we can say. So through these two aspects, we will learn so many things. Okay, but in learning, there are four important, as per our subject, there are four important factors that form how to define the learning. What is there in the learning? What is the main factors in the learning? One already I mentioned it. Another one is that learning is inferred from a change in behavior. Whether the behavior is modified or not depends on that only. We will conclude that learning process completed or not. There should be some modification in your behavior. Then only you can say, you can tell, you can conclude, yes, some learning is complete. So learning is behavior modification, number one. Modification of behavior, maybe 10% modification of behavior, or 20%, 50%, 70%, whatever the behavior modification that should be possible in the learning. Another one is learning results in inferred change in memory. So after completion of your learning, you should know something, you should memorize that. As I mentioned, training. When the mother trains the child how to walk, how to speak, how to do things, So by memorizing the training tips or training aspects, the child learns how to walk and how to speak. Even here also, in our classroom, when I train up you, when I give some tips of how to learn the subject, how to have the proper understanding about the psychology or the principles of psychology, you will have some memory of my class. After memorizing this thing, you learn so many things. So first thing is behavior modification should be there. Some modification in your behavior, as I mentioned. When you're not thorough in your subject and the person is not proper understanding about the subject, his or her attitude will be in a negative side. After completion of the thorough understanding of the subject, our attitude will be in positive side. So attitude also comes under the modification. Even confidence levels, as I mentioned, the confidence will be low before understanding the subject, before knowing the things. After completion of your understanding, of thorough understanding of the subject, our attitude will be positive, our confidence levels will be, this all comes under the behavior. So in learning, behavior modification, learning, memory. Then learning is the result of experience. Some experiences, as I mentioned, first one is training, second is the experience. Learning experience, through the learning experience only we will modify our behavior, we will change our behavior. Then relatively, it's a permanent, learning is relatively permanent. Why relatively permanent? How can you say it's relatively permanent? Comparing to the behavior, comparing to the previous time, before entering into the course, before knowing the subject, before understanding the topic, our attitude is somehow different. Comparing to that attitude, comparing to the previous confidence levels, the change in the behavior, the change in the memory, change in the attitude, change in the confidence levels. But whatever the change, it is permanent. Because out of your own experience, out of our own experience, we are learning so many things. So that experience will be some experiences. You will memorize things. That is the reason this is the permanent modification of behavior. Modification of behavior is not only for a time being, it's not only for a short term. It's not only for a short period of some minutes or some hours. It's a permanent modification of behavior. Then, if you understand all these various aspects, we will conclude that learning is the modification of behavior. Modification of behavior, not only temporary, it's a permanent modification of behavior. Memory also involved in the learning aspect. Then it is the permanent modification of behavior, at least up to some extent. Okay, so the behaviorist orientation to learning. We have some behavioral scientists or even psychologists. As I mentioned in yes classes, we have some schools of psychology. In the schools of psychology, one school of psychology is that behaviorism. Behaviorism is the one school of psychology. Okay, so Woodworth is one behaviorist psychologist. J.B. Watson. Okay, we have some schools of psychology. One school of psychology is the behaviorism. So in this behaviorism, there are two important conditionings that you can say connectionism. So one theory is that observed behavior, second is the behavior of environment. You will change our behavior through the external forces, or we can also change the behavior through our internal. Okay, the behavior is observable, as I mentioned. Observable behavior means from our surrounding areas, from the environment, we will learn so many things. We will learn so many things. That is the reason we will modify our behavior. That behavior is observable. Okay, that is observable. You can see it's the external behavior. Internal process also involved in the behavior. That means internal thought process. For example, you want to learn something. Internally, you need to memorize that. Internally, you need to recall those things. Okay. So one important thing is observable behavior is external, means observable, and in some cases, internal process. Internal process, for example, if you memorize the learning concepts, and if you understand the topics, so this understanding of your topics and your learning experience, this understanding the topics and your memorizing these topics, the both are comes under the internal process of learning. Okay, so this internal process shows in your behavior. That means you can easily observe the modification of behavior through your understanding. So observable behavior rather than the internal thought process. Internal thought process may be there, but it can be easily observable. Again, one example I'll give. For example, before understanding the subject, as I mentioned, our attitude will be in somehow it is a negative, some confused state in our thought process. Okay, once the subject, we have thorough understanding of our subject or the topic, our attitude will be always is positive. And our confidence levels also high. Self-esteem will be high. Okay, is it possible to observe this both like positive attitude and self-esteem? Yes, it is possible. By observing the particular person, whether his self-esteem is low or not, self-confidence is low or not, whether his or her attitude is positive or negative, you can observe by her activities, whether he is involved in the learning activities. That means he's having some sort of thorough understanding about the subject. So it is observable behavior rather than the internal thought process. Okay, then the environment also shapes our behavior. The environment means we learn so many things from our surrounding areas, from our environment. So this environment modifies our behavior. Got it? Then we will learn about some main links in learning process. One is connectionism. I'll explain. There are three important theories of connectionism, or you can say behavioral related theories. One is classical conditioning theory. Second is operant conditioning theory. Third is the social learning theory. In first two theories, like classical conditioning theory and the operant conditioning theory, one word, generally, one main term is connectionism. Okay, connectionism, I'll explain in a different way. One other theory is that Thorndike's trial and error theory. In trial and error theory of Thorndike's, there is also learning theory. We have so many theories of learning, but 2 or 3 theories only we will mention in our subject. One is Thorndike's, Edward Thorndike's theory is that in learning aspects, any sort of learning, initially we will commit some mistakes. We will do some mistakes. Any individual. In the learning process, mistakes are possible. Initial stage. If the trials are more, means practice are more, automatically errors will be less. When the trials are increased, errors will be decreased. The inverse proportional of trials and errors. One example I'll give. In the initial stage, when the speech or writing is practicing to any small childhood stage levels, cursive copywriting is one topic. One that is activity in the early childhood stage. Cursive copywriting. Whether you observe it or not, in cursive copywriting, first line will be neatly, without any mistake, will be given in the cursive copywriting books. Maybe any language, maybe Hindi, English, etc. But the child is supposed to see the line or the sentence. The child has to.
Sir?
In
can you see your camera, sir?
Sir, it's blinking, sir. Screen.
The camera, sir. And can you keep your speaker close to you, sir? You'll be audible to us.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Okay, sir.
Oh, it's okay, sir. Can you keep your mic close to you, sir?
Okay now? Is it audible now?
Now it's okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are discussing about the connectionism, how the connectionism. Here, the connectionism of trial and errors. When the trials are more, the errors will be less. When I'm giving an example, when the cursive copywriting or in the activity of the cursive copywriting, so one clear line will be given by the teachers or the print. Okay, the child is supposed to write the same words, the same sentence in the remaining given lines, maybe the 10 lines or whatever the lines are given on the particular cursive copy book. They'll write it the remaining lines. If you observe first line, there are so many mistakes in the first trial, or you can say first line. In the second or third line, the errors will be less. Means if the trial is increasing, trials are increasing, the errors are decreases. The connection between the both trial and error is here. The connectionism is inversely proportional. If the trials are more, the errors will be less. That is one learning theory given by Thorndike, Edward L. Thorndike. This theory is known as the trial and error theory. Trial and error theory is the theory of learning. Here again, there are three sub-principles. The main theory is that sub-principle is that one is law of exercise. Law of exercise means when the exercise means when the practice, when the child is practicing how to write that particular line, okay, so that by practicing, by his or her own experience, or you can say learning experience, he learned how to write the so and so sentence without any mistake, without any errors. That is called law of exercise, number one. Number two is that law of result. Law of result, or you can say law of effect. What is the result, ultimate result by doing this? So modification of his behavior or modification of our behavior. Law of exercise and law of result or law of effect. Third sub-principle of Thorndike's trial and error theory is law of frequency. Frequency means the more the child practice, the more the child can modify his or her behavior. And the child learns so many things. So here connectionism is that trials and errors, the connection between the trials and errors, maybe the inverse proportion, the connectionism is there. That is one important aspect. Then here another concept of learning is stimulus and response. Stimulus and response. In stimulus and response, the connection between the stimulus and response. Got it? How the connection between the stimulus and response. For example, if you modify the behavior of any abnormal behavior of any child, for example, the child is not sit at one place. Restlessness is one important behavioral problem in the children. Okay, so this, if you observe this type of abnormal behavior, or you can say problematic behavior among the children, if you want to modify that abnormal behavior or the problematic behavior of restlessness, okay, then how to modify this behavior? So ask the child to learn how to sit at one place, how to improve the sitting tolerance. Okay, here some training is needed. Some training is needed means some activities we have to practice to improve the sitting tolerance of any child. For example, if it is ADHD child or autistic child, as you know, ADHD is one major symptom of ADHD is that. What is ADHD?
Attention deficiency hyperactive disorder.
Attention deficiency.
Hyperactive disorder.
This is the ADHD. In ADHD, as you mentioned, attention deficiency, not sit at one place, restlessness, hyperactivity, not focusing on any activity. If, for example, if you modify the behavior, means the child has to learn how to sit. Okay, so modification of behavior is that how the modification of behavior, I'm explaining how to modify the behavior in this learning of sitting tolerance. Improving the sitting tolerance is our target. Our task is that. Okay, for example, if you give some reinforcement, for example, if you instruct the child, if you tell the child, if you sit for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, this will be reinforcement, or this will be reinforcement we will get. Here, stimulus and response. If you give this type of stimulus, the response of the child will be improving the sitting tolerance. So the connection between the stimulus and response, here connecting the stimulus to the response. One theory is that stimulus is more, the focus is on stimulus. If the focus and the stimulus, automatically response will be, you'll get the response from the child or the individual. That is one technique. Another technique is that focusing on the response, automatically will get the stimulus. So SR theory, classical conditioning theory, is depending on the SR. Classical conditioning theory, behavioral theories of learning. One important thing is the classical conditioning theory. Second is the operant conditioning theory. In classical conditioning theory, stimulus is main focus of center here. Stimulus. For example, here one theory and one experiment also explained by Ivan Pavlov. Ivan Pavlov. E-V-O-N, Ivan Pavlov, P-A-V-L-O-V. The classical conditioning theory is proposed by Ivan Pavlov. In this classical conditioning theory, stimulus, depending on the stimulus, the response. This theory is also known as the S-type theory, because here main focus on the stimulus. That is the reason this classical conditioning theory is also known as the S-type theory. Got it? Again, I'll repeat theories. One important theory is the trial and error theory by Edward L. Thorndike. Edward Thorndike. Trial and error theory is one theory of learning, but you can say learning theories, or you can say behavioral theories of learning. Behavioristic theories of learning. Why you call it as the behavioristic theories of learning means, as I mentioned, learning is behavior modification. When the behavior modification is possible, then only you can say, you can conclude learning is. Without modification of behavior, can't say learning aspect is completed. So that is the reason these theories are known as the behavioral theories of learning. First theory is the Edward Thorndike's trial and error theory, or trial and error theory of learning. Second is classical conditioning theory of Ivan Pavlov. Third is operant conditioning theory of Skinner, B.F. Skinner. Okay, in trial and error theory, as I mentioned, trials and errors, if the trials are more, the errors will be less. So sub-principle also I mentioned, one is law of effect, law of exercise, and law of frequency. These are the sub-principle of the Thorndike: law of exercise, law of frequency, and law of effect. And also another theory is law of readiness. What is law of readiness? To start the learning process, readiness, not only the physical readiness, psychological readiness, emotional readiness, social readiness is also essential. That is the reason in any state government or the CBSE, ICSE boards, there is a age limitations, you can say. After attainment of that age only, the child is supposed to admit in the class, so on class, maybe the KG1 or KG2, call it as LKG, UKG, or PP1, PP2. Why this age attainment is needed means, without that age, psychological readiness, emotional readiness, physical readiness is not possible. Got it? Some parents, maybe some cases, they will be hurry in admitting the child or their infants in the very beginning stage, like 2 years of age, they'll go and admit the schools, maybe play school, nursery, normal schools. So before admitting the school, the parents, they are supposed to check whether their readiness means readiness, physical readiness, psychological readiness, emotional readiness, and social readiness. For example, physical readiness means age and how his fine motor, grass motor, they're able to hold the pencil, they're able to do the scribbling. These are the things we need to observe, means their motor development is achieved, motor developmental milestones are achieved or not. And their language milestones, and their cognitive levels. That means cognitive development is achieved or not. This all comes under readiness. In the Thorndike's trial and error theory, the main theory is that there is a connection between the trials and errors. The trials are increased automatically, the errors will be decreased. That is the main theory of the Thorndike, Edward Thorndike. And there are some sub-principles, as I mentioned: law of exercise, law of effect, law of frequency, and law of readiness. Readiness is that. And the child is having that readiness of completion of the readiness after getting the attainment of, after completion of the various developmental, after achievement of all developmental milestones, then only be better to admit the child in maybe pre-primary 1, pre-primary 2, this first standard. Nowadays, even recent bill is passed in the parliament. There is the structure of total, you can say previously it was the educational ladder. Previous education ladder is 10 plus 2 plus 3 the educational ladder. Now the system is changing in recent years, or you can see that months. Now PP is also there, but there is a age limitations. So after getting that age only, be better to admit in this. So this is all related to the trial and error theory and the sub-principle of the Thorndike, E.L. Thorndike. Then second one is the classical conditioning theory by Pavlov. Classical conditioning theory, again, there is a two important things. One is stimulus and response. Based on the stimulus, response, depending on the stimulus, response. Here, in one experiment, he has given food to the animal. That is, here some books are mentioned the dog, some books they mentioned it as a cat. Whatever that this animal, that is a hungry animal. Why hungry? In learning process, thirst or hunger is most important thing. When the hungry animal is there, you are providing delicious food. Some of you are from the teaching background. You can understand this type of delicious food, hungry, readiness, physical, psychological, emotional, and readiness of this interacting with other children in the class, in the group. So here, stimulus. So here, one experiment he conducted, one experiment he administered, one experiment. This classical conditioning theory. First experiment is first level of experiment. First stage of experiment is that to the animal of dog, maybe cat, he will provide delicious food. That is here in your books mentioned as the mutton powder, means powder. he provide powder, like maybe some delicious food, we can say, delicious food to the animal without any condition. Okay, no condition. So after giving food, after 3 days or 4 days, or 3 times or 4 times, before giving food, he will he will keep a light there. He will switch on that light. That means the indication to the animal is that if you want to provide the food, this before providing the food, the bell or some sort of signal like light. Initially, without any conditions, okay, without any condition, without any connectionism, he provide some food to the animal. Then after some 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 times before giving the food, before providing the food, he will give some sort of signals like ringing a bell or maybe switch on the light, take bulb, like some signal. Okay, so first stage only providing the food. After some time, after some days, providing the food, before providing the food, some signals. That means combining this food along with the signal. That is connectionism. After some days, or after some trials, only bell. That is the third stage. No food. In first stage, providing food. Whatever the salvia produced by that particular animal, it is recorded. After completion of some 3 or 4 trials, second level is that providing food, before providing food, some signals. Then after that, third stage is the third level is that no food, but only giving the signals of light or maybe in a bell. Here, first one is unconditional stimuli, no condition. That means providing the food without any signal. Okay. In second stage, conditional stimuli, unconditional stimuli. Conditional stimuli is that bell or you can say any signal along with the unconditional stimulus, that is the food. I repeat, in starting stage, in initial stage, only food, that is unconditional stimulus food with the conditional stimuli, that is light, or you can say any signal. In the second stage, conditional stimuli means light or unconditional stimulus food. Okay. Then finally, only signal, no food, conditional stimuli. Recorded the salvation of the animal in all the 3 instances, or you can say all the 3 experiences. Then here, the salvia or salvation is recorded in the 3 stages. Got it? This is the experiment of classical conditioning theory given by Pavlov. Here, what is the main conclusion in this theory is that stimuli is the prominent role in this theory. Okay, response is depending on the stimulus. That is the reason this classical conditioning theory is also known as the S-type theory. Depends on the stimulus, response is possible. Okay. In this operant conditioning theory, here response is main role in this learning aspect. Here also one experiment administered by the Skinner, P.F. Skinner. In that experiment, in some books it is mentioned as a rat, in some books it is mentioned as the pigeon. This operant conditioning theory, first one is the classical conditioning theory, Ivan Pavlov's classical conditioning theory, stimulus theory that is known as the step theory, whereas operant conditioning theory by Skinner's operant conditioning theory is known as the R-type theory. In this R-type theory, the response, for example, if the means rat kept in a box, okay, so if the outside of the box, food is given, food is kept there out of the box, so the animal needs to touch a button, press the button in order to get the food. That is the experiment, brief experiment of this operant conditioning given by that is Skinner, B.F. Skinner. So in that particular experiment, when the operations or activities, you can say, the activity of the rat or any animal depends on the activity of the animal, it will get the response. Means if the response is more, automatically activity will be more. So the activities, what are the operations of the animal? What are the operations of the animal is depending on the response. Here another 2 or 3 terms are mentioned here. One is reinforcement. That reinforcement is positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. When the child, as I mentioned in our initial class, today's class, if you want to change the behavior of the child, for example, sitting tolerance is less, no sitting tolerance, restlessness is the behavior, abnormal behavior. If you want to modify the abnormal behavior of the child, we will provide some reinforcers. Reinforcers may be stage-wise. Stage-wise reinforcers means, for example, if the child learns how to sit for 10 to 15 minutes of time, we will give some oral gifts. As you know, some of you know, gifts are oral gifts and objective, I can say kind gifts, item type gifts. Oral gifts means very good is the oral gift, excellent is the oral gift, good is the oral gift. If you say very good, that is also one type of reinforcement. A smiling face, your gestures, your non-verbal communication also comes under one type of, some type of oral gifts. So here, if you tell the child, after completion of this particular task, I will give you this, or maybe these play items, maybe some sort of food items. Okay, only telling, not providing that one. I'll provide this type of items or this type of play activities items, or I can say food items. If the child learns how to sit, that means modification of behavior. Okay, this is the positive of completion of the task, of completion of the these learning things, you will provide some sort of positive reinforcers. So here reinforce is a positive or negative. For example, here as I mentioned, the animal presses the button, it presses the button. What are the operations? By doing that operations, if the animal gets the food, the delicious food. So initial stage, by giving some minimal efforts, the response means getting food also minimum quantity of getting food. If the efforts are more, the animal gets the high quantity of or the more quantity of the food. Based on the response is here food. The stimulus is the press the button. So if the response is more, depending on the response, the stimulus, depending on the reinforcement provided by the parents or the elders or any other person or the therapist, depends on the response, the child learns how to sit initially for 15 minutes, later on 25 minutes, 30 minutes, then 40 minutes also. How you reinforcing the child depends on the reinforcement, depends on the response. The child learns how to behave, how to sit at one place. Here the prominent role is the response. That is the reason this operant conditioning theory is called R-type theory. So this is the another important learning theory. Then social learning theory, or you can say learning things from the social, or you can say environmental factors. So many things the children or other any individuals, they learn how to speak, how to dress, how to walk, and how to mingle with other children in the group. Okay, these are all the learning things they learn from the environment, or you can say from the society. We know in environment there are three important factors. One is family is one important environment. Second is the school or education institution. Third is the society, or you can say our neighboring. So the child, the individual learns many things from this environment. Okay. So this other important theory of learning is social learning theory by Bandura. Bandura. Okay. Any doubt?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is not, my doubt is not regarding the topic today. This is regarding my assignment, which I should be submitting by 20th March, I guess. So I just wanted to know if we should write it on a A4 sheet, or is there any particular procedure to write it and submit? What is the procedure? Because I couldn't attend the offline classes due to some personal reasons. I was not in town. Yeah.
Okay.
So what is the procedure to write and submit the assignments?
Okay. So in A4 size papers, you can write assignments.
Okay.
On the remaining guidelines, it is given in the assignment. Already it is given in your, I think,
papers, question papers.
Yes. So those guidelines you have to follow.
Yeah, and we should submit it in the study center, or we should scan it and send it through online, sir?
No. You have to submit in the study center.
Study center. Okay. Can we get any videos of offline classes, or any that sort of thing is available? Because I couldn't attend the classes which are done offline.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there any videos or anything that I can go through, because I was not able to attend them?
No, offline class videos are not is available. The online classes are available.
Yeah, online classes I could get, but okay, offline I should learn by myself, I guess, right?
Yes.
So is there any compulsion for the attendance of offline classes for the examination?
It's not mandatory.
Okay.
But your practical classes will be conducted for 6 days.
Okay.
Yes, and second day 6 days. Those attendance is mandatory, it's compulsory.
Okay. And it is given as semester 1 and semester 2, sir. So when will be the semester 1 exams for 2023?
I think it's not semester 1, it's year-wise course, no? It's not.
Okay.
It's not semester 1, it's year-wise.
Okay. So tentative date of exam, sir? Examination
will be conducted twice in a year.
Okay.
Means once in August, another in the February or March. February. Previously, just last month already you had conduct examinations, no?
I couldn't get you, sir.
So yearly, twice the exam will be conducted yearly twice.
Okay.
It's not a semester wise, it's yearly examination. One is regular examination, other is supplementary examinations. Right?
Okay.
So
regular examination will be conducted in February or March?
Yes, yeah. You are admitted in the month of, I think,
December 2022, sir.
Yeah, your examination will be conducted in the month of December or January, mostly January or March. After completion of 1 year only.
Okay.
Your first year examinations.
Okay, sir.
And
thank you so much.
These are all the administrative things. Administrative doubts, you better to ask administrators.
Yes, sure, sir. But we couldn't get through the phone.
What are the topic related subjects, doubts? I am ready to clarify those doubts. For example, if you have any doubts in your assignments, how to write this, so on, so topic, those things I will explain.
Okay.
Administrative part, better to have these clarifications from the administrative departments.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir. I have one more doubt, sir. Sir, we have 2 assignments for each subject, right? So we need to submit the 2 assignments individually, or else we need to pin up those 2 assignments into a single assignment and we need to submit.
Generally, what happens, the stick file will be there. Stick file.
Yes, sir.
Both assignments, 1 or 2, both assignments of my subject. I am talking about my subject.
Okay, sir.
Will be given by the respective professors as the subject experts. In my subjects, so better to submit in the stick files. Okay, both assignment 1.
And sir, would you prefer having on one side written or both the sides, sir, for the assignment?
No problem. So here we will see how the topics, how the content that I'll observe especially. Whether it is one side or 2 sides, mostly they'll write in the one side only because it's an examination point of view, these assignments, no?
Okay.
And clearly you need to mention your admission number and your his name and for the first year, second year, the topic. These are all the things you have to write in the first page.
Okay, sir. Sir, in 2 stick files we need to submit, or else 2 assignments in 1 stick file?
1 stick file is enough. 2 assignments.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure. Thank you, sir.
Any topic related doubts can raise the point. Otherwise, we'll conclude here on 11:37. Okay. And one more instruction I want to give, one more advice I want to give. What are the assignments? You have to refer other books, not only this particular material. It's very limited content will be given in our material. Okay, reference books, better to refer other books. So that the ultimate aim of giving assignments is that we need to learn so many other areas of our subject. Extra subject. You are supposed to learn extra this knowledge about the subject. That is the reason.
Hi, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Actually, we have been given some assignments notes, like records from our study center. So we have to write the assignment in those records only, right? No need to use the stick
No,
files.
records are not provided by the study center. That records are different. That is for, as I mentioned, that is for class. That is for practical examination, not for practical classes.
Okay.
You have to attend these classes for practicals. You are supposed to do the practicals. Means experiments, psychological experiments you are supposed to do. For that, they will give the schedule. The administrators will give the schedule. I think that records is for that purpose, not for your assignments.
But university never supplies the records, sir. We have to get it on our own.
We have to purchase. Only study material they'll provide.
Yeah. Ma'am has mentioned that they have provided the records. So it's a state of a conflict statement. Because university providing to one student the record, the other students know.
So
It is unfair.
University won't provide the records as far as my knowledge is concerned.
Sir, when can we expect the practical classes, sir?
That's what I'm telling. These are all administrative aspects. These doubts better to get clarification from the administrators.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, they will intimate in your these things. Okay. Thank you. We'll meet in the next time.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, everyone. So we need to submit the assignments, 2 assignments in a single assignment format, right?
Yes.
Okay, then that will be good.
And
Okay.
Hello, hi. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, myself Naresh, and today has done only one class every day. I mean, when
We
they
have
will give.
another class at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
12 to 1 and 1:30 to 2:30 and another one at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
దిస్ ఇస్ శివ. అక్షయ ఇందులో ఇప్పుడు అసైన్మెంట్ చెప్పింది చూడండి. అసైన్మెంట్ అంటే ఏం రాయాలి అసలుకి? వాళ్ళు ఏమన్నా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇచ్చారా ఏం రాయాలో అట్లాంటిది?
ఇచ్చారు, మీరు ఒకసారి వెబ్సైట్ లో వెళ్ళి చెక్ చేయండి. గ్రూప్ లో కూడా పెట్టారు అసైన్మెంట్స్ ఏమేమి
సో
ఉన్నాయి.
ఐ థింక్ ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ కి టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో ఉన్న వాటిని రాయాలని చెప్పారు. ఐ థింక్
వేరే బుక్స్ కూడా రిఫర్ చేసుకొని రాయమన్నారు.
ఓకే, సో
అంటే మన ఓన్ వేలో రాయాలా లేకపోతే ఎట్లా అసైన్మెంట్స్ అన్ని?
అంటే వేరే బుక్స్ అన్ని రిఫర్ చేసుకొని మనకి రాయగలిగిన ప్రాసెస్ లో రాస్తే సరిపోతుంది. జస్ట్ టాపిక్ వైస్.
అంటే అది మన ఇష్టం. లైక్ మనం వేరే బుక్స్ కావాలంటే వేరే బుక్స్ కూడా రిఫర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, లేదు అంటే వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చింది కూడా రిఫర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు.
యాక్చువల్ గా డైరెక్ట్ గా యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ బుక్ లో ఉన్నది రాయకూడదని క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ లో ఉంది. రూల్స్ కూడా ఇచ్చారు అందులో, మనం ఎట్లా ఫాలో అవ్వాలి, ఎలా రాయాలి అవి. వన్స్ ఒకసారి క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ చూస్తే అర్థమవుతుంది.
ఇఫ్ యు డోంట్ మైండ్, ఎవరైనా బిఫోర్ రాస్తే గ్రూప్ లో ఏమన్నా వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ ఉంది కదా, సో అందులో పెట్టండి ఒకసారి.
అలాగే ఇప్పుడు మీ అన్న అసైన్మెంట్ కూడా వాళ్ళకి తెలిస్తే పెట్టరా ఒకసారి గ్రూప్ లో?
లేదు, we cannot copy the assignments. ఎందుకంటే
just we'll get an idea how to write.
ఎలా రాయాలి ఐడియా కోసం అంతే. మాకి ఓల్ కొట్టరు కానీ నార్మల్ ఎలా రాయాలో వాళ్ళకి అర్థం అట్లా.
యాక్చువల్ గా ఒక అతను యూట్యూబ్ లింక్ పెట్టారండి. someone shared a YouTube link. Please refer that YouTube link. Yeah,
thank you.
that is a better. You just check the YouTube link. You will see the detail how the person how we have to write the assignment.
Yeah, because the university they are not.
ఈ అసైన్మెంట్ ఎప్పుడు ఇవ్వమన్నారు మళ్ళా? ఎప్పుడు ఇవ్వాలి మనం అసైన్మెంట్? ఎట్లా?
20 March 20 బిఫోర్
20 సబ్మిట్ చేయాలి.
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ సార్,
ఇదే మంత్ 20 అంటే
ఈ మంత్ లోనే?
అవునా? అంటే ఆల్ సబ్జెక్ట్సా?
ఆల్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్.
మ్యామ్ అవి రికార్డ్స్ అని ఎవరు
హలో
అక్క చెప్పండి చెప్పండి మీరు.
రికార్డ్స్ గురించి చెప్పారు, అది రైటర్ రాంగ్ వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్.
రికార్డ్స్ గురించా?
అంటే యూనివర్సిటీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేశారని కొంచెం బిఫోర్ క్లాస్ లో ఒక ఆవిడ చెప్పారు. ఇస్ ఇట్ రైట్ ఆర్ రాంగ్? ఎందుకంటే అందరికీ రీచ్ అవ్వలేదు.
రికార్డ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇంకా ఏం రాలేదు. రికార్డ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ రాలేదు, ఓన్లీ అసైన్మెంట్స్ నడుస్తుంది.
దట్స్ వాట్ ఆమె ఇంతకు ముందు ఆమె క్లారిఫై ఇచ్చింది. అసైన్మెంట్స్ రికార్డ్ లో రాయాలా, వైట్ A4 షీట్స్ లో రాయాలా?
నో ఈ ఇందాక సార్ చెప్పారు కదండి.
రికార్డ్స్ వేరు, అసైన్మెంట్స్ వేరు. హలో,
అసైన్మెంట్స్ వేరు. A4 సైజ్ పేపర్.
రికార్డ్స్ మన ప్రాక్టికల్ టైం లో రాయాలి.
రికార్డ్స్ ఏమి ఉండవండి, రికార్డ్స్ ఏమి ఉండవు, ఓన్లీ అసెస్మెంట్స్.
రికార్డ్స్ యూనివర్సిటీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తుందా లేదా అనేది క్వశ్చన్ అక్కడ. ఎందుకంటే
అంటే ఆవిడ అన్నారు కదా రికార్డ్స్ లో రాయాలా అని.
A4 సైజ్ పేపర్స్ లో రాసి వన్ సైడ్ మాక్సిమం రాస్తారంట ఎక్కువ మంది. సో వన్ సైడ్ రాసి ఒక స్టిక్ ఫైల్ లో పెట్టి ఒక్కొక్క అసైన్మెంట్ మొత్తం కలిపి 2 అసైన్మెంట్స్ ఒక స్టిక్ ఫైల్ లో పిన్ చేసి ఆ సెంటర్ కి వెళ్ళి ఇవ్వాలి.
యాక్చువల్లీ మీ క్వశ్చన్ అర్థం కాలేదు. ఆవిడ అడిగేది ఏంటంటే యూనివర్సిటీ వాళ్ళు రికార్డ్స్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేశారా,
ఎవరికైనా ప్రొవైడ్ చేసింది
ముందు ప్రొవైడ్ చేశారా?